Hi, welcome to another Wild Edges Permaculture and Mental Health vlog. So over the last week, I've been going through a few bits of adversity and stuff. We all do. We all come across difficulties in our day-to-day lives. The things that have come up for me the most are feeling a bit stuck. Where do I go? What sort of journey do I take if I've had difficulty just coming up, figuring out decisions, which as a highly sensitive person, one of the sort of character traits is that it's not always easy to make decisions because of that overwhelm. So there's been a few things that have come up and I've had to really struggle with making decisions. And what permaculture design can help us do, and it is about the design aspect of it, it can help us to not only to create efficient, regenerative and resilient systems, it can help us to become unstuck. So from a social perspective, if we can use permaculture design both in the garden, on land, and within our communities and socially, we can also use frameworks, if you like, to help us shift forward in difficult situations. And they don't have to be major situations. It could be as simple as, what do I have for tea? What car do I buy? What house do I buy? What bank account should I open? But then, it can be things like really bigger life decisions, such as the jobs, relationships, and things like that. So for me, there's been a few situations where I really struggled and just thought I could soldier on. But I decided what I find that I do. Well, so in my permaculture toolkit, there's one thing I use pretty much all the time, and that's mapping. Or some people recognize it as brainstorming. So if I just show you what I've been doing here, so you can see in the center, I've got zone 0, but it's generally described as zone 00. So and I'll talk about zones in a minute. So mapping, so I've just put the zone 00 at the center, and then through that I've just done a few, put down some of my thoughts, and that's kind of gone over a few pages actually. So this is my little book where I make my notes. So I guess my book, and just mapping. So if I did start to write this down kind of in sentences and a few words, but actually I always come back to this and I find it really, really helpful. It pretty much captures everything, more or less everything I want to say. And from there I take bits and pieces, and a principle I use quite a lot, and I've probably said this before, is small and slow solutions. It's my favourite principle to use in situations where I'm really struggling with my mental health. So zoning is generally used to help maximize efficiency within permaculture design. We place elements according to their needs for maintenance or harvesting, gaining a yield from a particular element. And it's about how we place those elements together. So where we might actually have to visit an area, the frequency of visiting an area. So that's kind of like from a really brief overview of how we might use it on a land-based system. Within a more social network, it starts with zone 00. So that is our south, that is our inner landscape. And from there it goes to zone 0, which is the home. So again, that can be the land aspect too. And then we go zone 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And within the social aspect of it, that looks at our immediate family, our local networks, and going on to more the things that we can influence and that are our concerns on a more global scale. But I can share some links from this in this channel, just in the notes. I'll share some links to do with zoning and how you can actually understand that. So there are a couple of things that I've been using over the last week or so. I've also been doing a little bit more research on the stigma attached to mental health. And what I found interesting was how we can self-stigmatize. So, you know, if you recognize yourself as having some kind of neurodiversity, uh, or suffering from poor mental health, we're inclined to stigmatize ourselves and put ourselves in a bubble and put ourselves in a corner, and make ourselves feel marginalized, and then it becomes a them and an us. And I think there's enough of that going on in our culture already. And as a mind campaigner and mind peer support worker, I very much advocate that, you know, speaking openly about poor mental health, and how we can actually work towards better emotional resilience. So that's just some things I'm sharing with you this week. I hope that you've got something out of this video. If you'd like to hear about anything I've spoken about in this vlog, then please do share your comments in the in the comments bit, and I will share some information with you about that. And if there's anything in particular that I've shared with you that you want to really know more about, then please do let me know. As I say, I'm just evolving these videos. Oh yes, and excuse the space where I am. It was just a bit quieter to come and sit in the car, actually. Yes, so excuse the environment. But please, you know, do share your comments and any feedback on these videos that I share with you, talking about how I use various tools and techniques to help build my own personal resilience. Please let me know. If there's anything else you want to hear about, like I said, again, let me know. So take care for now, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye bye.